Hello, we're back at the board. The board scares me a bit because I'm scared of numbers and, you know, dyslexia, dyscalculia, you call it what you want. But then I've suddenly realised that actually I'm no worse at numbers than Rachel Reeves, so I'm perfectly valid and legitimate to stand here. Now, Andrew Neil has done an article in the Daily Mail today. I'll put the link in this. It's finally in black and white what you and I have been saying. And I know it's a bit annoying when we sit here and go, yeah, we've been saying this for ages, but we're not mainstream media. So now it's in the mainstream media. Let's see what happens with that. Oh, by the way, though, we might not be in the mainstream media, but we're over 22,000. Thank you. Please keep liking and subscribing. It's awesome. And share the videos and then other people will see them as well. So mainstream media can have this one because it's in black and white, but you and I know we've been saying this. So he talks a lot about the lies and a lot about Keir Starmer's gaslighting, and we can, you know, he's a bit late to the party, but we can give him that. But what interested me was the figures, because when you write them down, there is no denying them, is there? There is no denying. So what he says vocally for the first time, well, not for the first time, but certainly it feels like it's very hard hitting, is this £22 billion black hole that the Labour Party keep going on and on about. And they keep saying, well, you know, first day on the job, oh my God, this is way worse than we thought it was. We've got a £22 billion black hole. But that's never been found. It's never been evidenced. It's never been officially rubber stamped. So the Office for Budget Responsibility has never endorsed that. They've never said, oh yeah, they do. Actually, that's a bit awkward. All we have is Labour's word for it. Now, at the beginning, people did believe Labour because they were sort of so ready for a change. And let's be honest with you, we didn't really believe a word the last government said. So when they said that, we were like, this could be plausible. They were absolutely horrendous in power. You know, it's the things that they did were pretty ropey, so this could be plausible. But as time's gone on, there's been a big shift in, hang on a minute, this is absolutely not plausible. No, where is this? You're just using this as an excuse. And we know that they are, and we know that they knowingly said that. We know that leading up to the election, they were like, well, look, we'll just say it was their fault. This was their plan. So they sold us, the Labour Party, on £8.5 billion of tax rises. I mean, Rachel Reeves said she thought there was no real need to raise taxes. She's raised taxes to £40 billion. She's raised taxes by £40 billion. She was going to spend £9.5 billion. That's what, in the lead up to the election, that was the number that was being bandied around by them. Over 10 years, they're spending £76 billion. I mean, I feel sick when I'm in Aldi and I'd gone to spend £40 and I've spent 48 and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, that's washing powder, dishwasher tablets. You know, it's just those bits that hoof it up. That's a massive hoof. 9.5 to 76. And of course, well, where are we funding this? Well, we're borrowing more money than ever. We're borrowing £36 billion. And I didn't know this, but Andrew Neil's note on this was, our terms and conditions of our borrowing are so much higher than even Liz Truss's because there's such little faith in our government and in our economy. So Liz Truss was forced to resign. We've still got Rachel Reeves and she's doing a worse job than Liz Truss, if you can believe that. So how is she still sat there spouting her crap, more money in your pocket, when we have no money in our pocket? She has plenty in hers, for sure, but we have no money in our pocket, and every day there's another tax rise. And, you know, this whole U-turn on the pensioners' winter fuel allowance, I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I think it's a real low bar in trying to gain popularity. They're not going to do anything until the autumn budget. They have no plans to do anything until the autumn budget. So this is literally lip service to get people back on side. Let's see what happens in the autumn budget. But if we've got this disaster that the Tories left them, what about the disaster that they've created themselves? How are they going to get out of that one? So there's lots of things in this article. I think it's really worth having a look at it. The care homes in particular, the fact that Keir Starmer says he's given the care homes £100 million to help with the national insurance contributions. Well, why impose a policy that you know you're going to have to bail people out of? That was your policy. You rubber stamped that. Rachel Reeves came up with it and you said okay. Yet care homes can't meet the gap. They don't have the money to pay the national insurance increase. So he says he's given them £100 million. He hasn't. It was a capital grant. It was not there for national insurance. It was there to improve the standards, to go towards pay. It was not there to cover the national insurance contribution rise. So he hasn't given them £100 million, but he's telling you and I he has, in the same way that he's saying that he's halved net migration, even though it was James Cleverly's policy that did that. And James Cleverly himself was opposed by Yvette Cooper at the time when she was in opposition, saying it was Tory chaos. Yet here she is, benefiting from the Tory chaos that has halved net migration. It wasn't Keir Starmer. He has not taken control of anything. More people are coming in on boats under his watch than any time ever. Yet he's lying to you, barefaced lying, saying, oh, well, no, I've halved net migration. But he hasn't. And the bit that sticks is that he thinks that you and I are stupid. They all think that we can't add up. They all think that we can't work this out. Because again, you can have as many facts and figures as you like. And I've said this before, because I'm not a fan of facts and figures, I go with lived experience. I go with real life. So anyone can interpret a statistic however they want, really, let's be honest. But what matters is what the actual reality is. And the reality is that people are waiting longer for NHS treatment. People have less money in their pockets, bills are rising, the cost of existence is off the chart, and life is pretty miserable financially for a very big percentage of us. People are leaving the country left, right and centre. People do not want to come into our country. I've already said firsthand, tourism is at an all-time low, holidays an all-time low. But nobody listens to that because they want to give you facts and figures and spout numbers and stuff and give big headline claims of I've done this and I've done that. Well, I'll tell you what I've done. I've tightened our budget in our family to the point that there really is no headroom because I've had to. And I'm not alone. I'm probably just one of the most honest people that says it because I know a lot of people feel shame when they say, oh my God, we can't afford that, or we're not going on holiday this year because we've got and they'll try and make an excuse for it. I'm absolutely factual. We can't afford it. Does that mean we're bad people? Does that mean that we can't budget? Does that mean that we're crap? No, it doesn't. It simply means that in our stage of life, with all of the requirements on the budget that comes into our house, there's just simply not enough to make ends meet. There may be next year, there was a couple of years ago, but right now there's not. So that's the lived experience. So whilst Keir Starmer can spout whatever he wants to spout about an extra, £300 in your pocket, well, it doesn't even cut the sides, Keir. I mean, 300 quid in my pocket, what's that going to do? It's not even going to pay the electricity bill. It doesn't help. We need to go a lot faster, but with somebody else in the top dog seat. So have a look at Andrew Neil's article. It's really interesting. Have a look at the figures. It's difficult, I think, to sort of pull those figures out when it's all in words, but they're the headline figures. And effectively, what we need to know is when they said they were going to raise taxes by 8.5 and they've raised them to £40 billion, that says it all. They lied. You cannot dress it up any more than that. They lied. And they're continuing to lie. And to get themselves out of the hole, they're getting themselves deeper and deeper and deeper. So what this now boils down to is the opposition needs to start putting their fighting gloves on. They need to roll their sleeves up and go into bat. Because until they do, this will carry on. So more than ever, Kemi Badenoch and Nigel Farage are more important to us than they almost would be if they were in power. Right now, they are what we need to get us out of this hole. And I don't care how they do it, but they need to do it because our lived experience, forget your big numbers, our lived experience is saying exactly the opposite to what Keir Starmer is saying. And that is not pretty reading.